Welcome to Reading the Bible with Andre, and today we're focusing on Genesis chapter 5. I'm reading out of the Living Bible today, so if you have a Bible, feel free to follow along. Here is a list of some of the descendants of Adam, the man who was like God from the day of his creation. God created man and woman and blessed them, and called them man from the start. Adam. Adam was 130 years old when his son Seth was born, the very image of his father in every way. After Seth was born, Adam lived another 800 years, producing sons and daughters, and died at the age of 930. Seth. Seth was 105 years old when his son Enosh was born. Afterwards, he lived another 807 years, producing sons and daughters, and died at the age of 912. Enosh. Enosh was 90 years old when his son Kenan was born. Afterwards, he lived another 815 years, producing sons and daughters, and died at the age of 905. Kenan. Kenan was 70 years old when his son Mahalalel was born. Afterwards, he lived another 840 years, producing sons and daughters, and died at the age of 910. Mahalalel was 65 years old when his son Jared was born. Afterwards, he lived 830 years, producing sons and daughters, and died at the age of 895. Jared. Jared was 162 years old when his son Enoch was born. Afterwards, he lived another 800 years, producing sons and daughters, and died at the age of 962. Enoch. Enoch was 65 years old when his son Methuselah was born. Afterwards, he lived another 300 years in fellowship with God and produced sons and daughters. Then, when he was 365 and in constant touch with God, he disappeared, for God took him. Methuselah was 187 years old when his son Lamech was born. Afterwards, he lived another 782 years, producing sons and daughters, and died at the age of 969. Lamech was 182 years old when his son Noah was born. Lamech named him Noah, meaning relief, because he said, "He will bring us relief from the hard work of farming this ground which God has cursed." Afterwards, Lamech lived 595 years, producing sons and daughters, and died at the age of 777. Noah was 500 years old and had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Well, that is Genesis chapter 5, and the first thing I kind of notice is people lived a really long time back then. Really long time. But I suppose at the time, from how it seems, sin had entered the earth, but it was not as big as it is today, and the lives were still much longer back then, and I guess as things break down over time, but these people are still that whole first set of people from the beginning of Genesis, and the descendants of Adam and Eve, very close. So things were a lot different back then, I've noticed here. But just looking at a few things here, it's like Methuselah. That's something, how God just took him. Not that he necessarily died, but he just kind of just went with God after being in such close contact. That's a real special kind of relationship there. But just shows that people just lived a lot longer back then, and There was less sin in the world than there is today, and as things go further in time, they just tend to degenerate to a certain extent, you could say. But very interesting to see that whole progression of the first family and then all the offspring and so forth. So pretty interesting stuff here as we just look a little bit more. But yeah, the lives are much longer back then, but people were stronger, and like I said, just less sin, and still those early generations coming right from Adam and Eve. So Adam and Eve were meant to live forever and were made perfect, but since they fell, things slowly declined. So that is Genesis chapter 5. If you have any questions or thoughts or comments, suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comment section. If you have any prayer requests, please let me know about that too. And just ongoing prayer, just asking for you to pray for America. And just any other prayers you have, just send those in to me. And we'll reconvene again for another episode of Reading the Bible with Andre very soon. So until then, may God be with you, and God bless you. Thank you very much.